Hello, and welcome to week 8 of English 120. This week, you're going to introduce your research topic in this week's conversation. You're also going to review and begin working on your research prospectus. This won't be due till the end of next week, so you'll have 2 weeks to work on it. You're going to review Chapter 2 of the Bedford Researcher, and you're going to continue your research on your topic and complete the following activities in your research journal. Explore your topic on page 35 and choose an issue within your topic on page 38. You'll also complete critically assessing the credibility and validity of sources in comp class. Please note, this week we will not be reading The Valley of the Moon. We're going to take a short break to catch up on our research, but we'll be reading to the end of book 1 next week. So, this week in your conversation, I'd like you to introduce your topic to the class. One of the ways we really gain information about topics is to see what other people are working on. And we all know that many of us are studying the same topic. So you could share sources and ideas. You could share different ways that you're approaching the topic. You can also learn about the other topics that your peers are working on, because a lot of the topics are interrelated as well. So please write a post where you clearly define your topic. Talk about how it relates to Jack London and the research that you've already completed. Then ask your peers and me 3 questions. Please post your own post by Saturday at 11:59 p.m. Your post should be long enough that we really understand specifically what you're looking at. So if you are, for example, writing about prize fighting, you should define what prize fighting is and how you feel like you're going to be approaching it. Excuse me. At the end of the post, you want to ask really good questions about things you're curious about your topic, and see if someone out there has answers. That's a really good way to kind of get more information. Please respond to at least 3 of your peers' questions by Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. So that means when you respond to your peers this week, you're not going to comment just on their original post. You're going to comment on the questions that they left at the end and try to provide them answers to those questions. Don't just say, hey, great questions. I want you to actually try and answer them. So as on our research project, we are now in the phase of developing our research prospectus. And this is a really great time in your research because you're going to be doing a lot more research to understand the conversation that you're joining, right? All of the different topics that are being talked about in regards to your topic. And you're going to kind of define the history of your topic as part of your prospectus. After that, that's when we start to really go deep into finding really good sources. So that's where we'll be after you turn in your research prospectus. So what is a research prospectus? A prospectus is a proposal to undertake a research project. A prospectus is a statement that briefly describes the questions, materials, and methods a researcher will use in his or her research. A prospectus indicates that the research project fits the required parameters. There is a detailed explanation about writing a proposal or research prospectus in Chapter 3 of the Bedford Researcher. So what are the parts of a research prospectus? It contains a clear, concise introduction to the topic of research. It states the main research questions that the researcher wishes to answer. It summarizes the basic arguments, the conversation that surrounds the research topic. And a prospectus lists a basic research materials and methods if the researcher already has certain materials in mind. A prospectus details how and where the researcher plans to gather information and materials. And then the next stage from this would be your annotation of your sources, but that won't occur until later when we develop our annotated bibliography. The prospectus usually does not include the researcher's thesis, except as a basis for the research questions. If the researcher believes a certain thing to be true, but has no substantive evidence to support that belief, then the researcher's belief drives the questions that must be answered in order to demonstrate the correctness of the belief. Prospectus provides a brief explanation of the research paper's direction. How long should a research prospectus be? Prospectus should be about 2 to 3 pages long. More importantly, a prospectus needs to cover the basic points to assure the reader that the researcher plans a substantive project. Oh, sorry, got ahead of myself. So your research prospectus is due on the 24th at 11:59 p.m. Sorry. It's worth 100 points, and you're to create a prospectus in MLA format, just like all the other papers that you've been writing for this class, and it needs to be at least 2 to 3 pages long, where you will answer all of the following questions. Decide on a tentative title for your prospectus. What are you researching in one sentence or less? Let that inform your title. Use the topic from your project topic form. Consider applicable headings for your prospectus. You should minimally have headings for an introduction, research description, procedures, research justification, and works to be cited. These headings will help you to better organize your prospectus and will help explain your research to the audience. Continue to research and then write the introduction. Give a 1 to 2 paragraph history of your topic and give a brief explanation regarding what you are proposing to research and why. Develop research questions. And just know that next week we're going to be working on this part of the research perspective. So please do not create your research prospectus this week. You have 2 weeks, and we're going to work on part of it this week and part of it next week. So your research questions we're going to be working on developing them next week. Write a procedure section. Give an outline for your method of research. Refer to your timeline that you created. Describe your proposed techniques. Answer the when, where, and how of your study. If you already have materials in mind, so sources, add a preliminary works cited section. Show that you have already begun research and are knowledgeable about the topic. Show that others are interested in the topic of your research. Finally, conclude and edit your perspectives. Read over it, making sure that you've used appropriate words and sentence structures. And always, before you turn something in, please proofread. If you have questions after learning about this, and after looking through Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 of the Bedford Researcher, please don't hesitate to contact me so I can help you understand the assignment. But again, it's not due until the end of week 9. So for week 8, in your research journal, you're going to begin the work that you need to do to prepare for your research prospectus. That means you're going to complete 2 of the reflection exercises in the Bedford Researcher. Please complete Explore My Topic, found on page 35, and choose an issue within your topic on pages 38 and 39. This work will prepare you to begin working on your research prospectus, which will be due at the end of next week. Please make sure you type in your answers into the research journal. Don't attach pages. In comp class, you're going to be completing the research lesson and research quiz on locating various types of information needs. That's it for this week, guys. It's a short lecture. Next week, we're going to finish book 1 in Valley of the Moon. Then we're going to have a deep conversation about the first book of the Valley of the Moon. Next, you're also going to be working on developing your research questions and working on your prospectus next week. And your prospectus will be due at the end of the week. That's it. I'll see you guys online. Don't hesitate to ask me questions if you have any.